What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Jeffrey Cooperstein here, and we have the 2026 NBA trade deadline coming up here in just 2 hours. Obviously, the Mavericks have made their major move, sending Anthony Davis out to the Washington Wizards in an 8-player deal, and now all eyes are on the fringes. Are the Mavericks going to make a move with Daniel Gafford, with Naji Marshall, with Klay Thompson, with Caleb Martin? That's really where we are looking at over the next 120 minutes or so. But we will recap the trade that happened yesterday, of course. And if you missed it, our breaking news VOD is out on the channel right now, so go check it out as well. But the Mavericks did make their major move, sending Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards in exchange, or alongside Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum. Coming to the Mavericks, Khris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malaki Branham, Marvin Bagley, 2 first-round picks, although we'll get into those in a minute, and 3 second-round picks. The 2 first-round picks, however, are, kind of second-round picks essentially. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder's first-round pick this year, which will be pick 29 or 30, and then a heavily protected first-round pick via Golden State in 2030 as well. That will likely convey into 2 seconds. In addition, 3 second-round picks, including 1 this season. And it sounds like, by all accounts, Khris Middleton, Marvin Bagley, and Malaki Branham could all be potential buyout candidates for the Mavericks as well. So keep an eye on that, and we will, of course, have you up to date if we hear about anything surrounding the Dallas Mavericks in the buyout market. But that's where we stand here at the moment, with an hour and 56 minutes to the 2026 NBA trade deadline. Shout out your city down in the comments for me. Let me know where you are watching today's show from. Shout out to Thomas J. Spence for tuning in today. I see we got 50-plus people in the building already. My man Jonathan Jones. I see Matty Ice. I see, let's go. Worst time and the Buckeye hat. I know you'll be in here. Worst deadline ever, says Matty Ice. Why is that? Why is it the worst deadline ever? Jonathan Soto in the building. What's good, Soto? Hope you're having a good day, my friend. We got, oh my goodness, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm just going to call you Nip from Newark. Very cool, just outside of New York City. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Keep shouting out your city. We are live at the Chat Sports Studios in Dallas, Texas, about a mile away from the American Airlines Center where the Dallas Mavericks play. And the Mavericks have gone through hell and back, it seems like, over the last year or so, but they did end up trading Anthony Davis yesterday. And we'll get to the news around the NBA as well. Oh my goodness, my boy Tristan coming in with a $10 super chat. T-Money will get you up on screen here in just a moment. Appreciate that. In case you missed it, the big news of the day is the Milwaukee Bucks are expected to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo past the deadline today. Brian Windhorst reported that it's possible Milwaukee ends up shutting him down for the rest of the season as well. So keep an eye on that, but the Bucks not going to be trading Giannis. He will not be moving. Arnetta, do you think we give Kyrie away? I do not. Kyrie Irving will be a Maverick after the trade deadline today. I don't think that's going to be even a question there. What's up, Arnold? Waving to the chat. I really think that Kyrie is going to stay here at least through next season. I think that the Mavericks value Kyrie's leadership. They value what he brings to the table on and off the court. They value him as a mentor to Cooper Flagg, trying to teach him the ropes of how to be a franchise, face of the franchise, a leader of a franchise. So I think Kyrie will absolutely be here for the rest of the season and next season as well. I just simply don't see the Mavs trading Kyrie Irving. My man T-Money Tristan with the $10 super chat. My guy, appreciate you, my dog. I'll text you later. He says, just spending some quality time with my boy. Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, that's what we're doing today. Spending some quality time, talking Mavs basketball, talking trade deadline as well. We'll run through the other trades that have happened in the NBA. I mean, man, let me tell you what. There has been a lot of trades that have gone on in the NBA, and some pretty significant ones as well. Not sure if we get any more significant leading up to the deadline here. But, man, I think there's some pretty interesting deals that could potentially impact what the Mavericks do as well. So we'll get into those here in just a couple of moments. But as we do with every show, I need to tell you guys about our sponsor, which of course is PrizePicks. Basketball season, yeah, it's in full swing, but the big game on Sunday is what we're focusing on. Don't miss out on the last football action of the season over at PrizePicks, where you can get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5. PrizePicks is super easy to play. All you do is pick more or less on at least 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch your winnings roll in. You can play in all 50 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, Texas. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, and Cash App for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. And with the new social feeds feature, you can copy PrizePicks partners like us, tailor or fade our picks with just one click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. And don't miss out on the big game max discount. Yes, PrizePicks is offering a huge discount on Drake May passing yards, a half a yard. You think Drake May is going to throw half a yard in the big game Sunday? Well, you can take that, pair it up with a couple of other player stat projections, and you could win some big money. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play that first $5 lineup. One more time, that is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this live edition of Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. All right, so let's just take a look at where the Mavericks are here at the moment. And I want to shout out Dan. I want to shout out Mavericks Greatness. I want to shout out John, all in the chat. Shout out to Debbie as well, watching from Lorena, just outside of Waco. Yes. Appreciate everybody in the chat chilling with us here today. I don't think Kyrie is going to play here either, but this is where the Mavericks are at the moment as we stand. They are unfortunately a selling ball club. What, for better or worse, they are a selling ball club. They sold Anthony Davis, right? And the biggest needs, I don't know if there's any one big roster need that the Mavs are just in dire desire of at the moment. It's cap space, it's draft capital, it's young pieces around Cooper Flagg. That is what the present and the future is all about. Number 32. That's what it's about. Building all around him. And over the last 3 games, Cooper Flagg has made history where he has scored 30 points in 3 straight games, the first rookie to do so since Jalen Green in 2022. Look, I think Flagg is someone that the Mavericks can absolutely build around and build a franchise around, and that is what they're trying to do. And obviously, the Mavericks did trade Anthony Davis in the 8-player deal that we mentioned to the Washington Wizards. So that's where things stand with the Dallas Mavericks, and we will discuss the latest trades and stuff that have happened in the NBA as well. But I do think that this would be a good time to shout out somebody on the Mavericks that you want them to trade. Shout out who you want the Mavericks to trade next, if you want them to make a move at all. Let me know down in the comment section. We'll get some comments going, get the conversation flowing here. Now, who you guys think the Mavericks should trade? Kent says Gafford. John? What up, John? No one else from the Mavs getting traded? Yeah, it's very possible that no one else gets traded in the next hour and a half. It's very possible that no one else gets traded in the next hour and a half. I hope that's not the case, but I do think that that's possible. Klay says OG. Koenig says, why Gaff? Who is our big man then? Well, that's it. Here's the thing. It's not about this season. It's about next season and beyond. Our big man would be Moussa Cisse, and it would be Dwight Powell. And for the rest of the season, that would just simply have to do. The Mavericks aren't in the business of trying to win games like this season. If you can't tell, they are 19-31. They're 12th in the Western Conference. They're not trying to compete this year. It's about next year and beyond, where you would have Derek Lively. You would have cap space to go get another big man as well. and you would be acquiring draft assets in return for Gafford, maybe cap space as well. That would be the rationale behind trading Daniel Gafford. Same goes with Klay Thompson. Dan the Man, my guy. What was the ranking of who you had as most likely to be traded that you said yesterday? I can't remember what I said. I think I said Gafford 1, Naji 2, Martin 3, Thompson 4. That's what I think I said there. And I would still probably say that stands true. I would say in order, that's probably your most likely to be traded. Now, the spots for Gafford have kind of dried up because Atlanta went out and got a center. Toronto went out and got a center. You still could have the Pacers, perhaps, right? Like that could be a landing spot. So it depends on if the Pacers want to trade for Daniel Gafford or not. Clay and Caleb, that's it for now. Kent says, love Dallas when I lived there 20 years ago. Where'd you live, Kent? Where'd you live? I've lived in Dallas my entire life. So I absolutely love the area. Absolutely love the area. Kent says, take another late first or 2 seconds. Get that war chest stuffed. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Freddie watching from Dallas. Close to SMU. Very cool, Kent. Yeah, we're in the uptown area here in Dallas. Absolutely love the area, man. Absolutely love the area. Love the Mavs, obviously, as well. All right, so let's take a look at the most recent trades here, or do we want to go with the most significant trades? Let's do the most significant ones. We'll start with this one, which was kind of a shocker. I didn't see this coming, as Jaren Jackson headed to the Utah Jazz in exchange for 3 first-round picks and a bunch of fringe players. I like Walter Clayton, obviously, the rookie out of Florida. Think he's a great player. Taylor Hendricks, who broke his leg against the Mavericks last year. George Niang is a Mavs killer, so I'm sure when the Mavericks see the Grizzlies, again, he will destroy us. But the Grizzlies end up getting 3 future first-round picks for Jaren Jackson. So they trade Jaren Jackson. They trade Desmond Bane. So they got 7 first-round picks for Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane. And now they're on Ja Morant watch. Although it doesn't seem like Ja Morant is going to be moved from Memphis at this point in time. It's still, again, an hour and 46 minutes away from the trade deadline, so it's certainly possible. But if they move Ja Morant, I'm not sure they're getting even 1 first-round pick for him. That was probably the most significant trade, I would say. I really like this deal for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, do the rich get richer or what? They get Jared McCain and 3 second-round picks. They give up a first-round pick and 3 second-round picks to the Philadelphia 76ers. But, man, oh, man, do the Thunder just find a way to just add on? And, again, they're already the best team in the NBA, and they go out and get freaking Jared McCain, who I think will be really good for them. Unbelievable what they do. It's insane. And then this trade essentially took the Warriors out of the Giannis sweepstakes, where they traded Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to the Hawks for Kristaps Porzingis. I actually think KP is a good fit for Golden State. They really needed a stretch 5 on that team, and if he's healthy, I actually think they got a pretty good squad there together with Steph, with Draymond, with KP. They sent out Trace Jackson Davis as well. Or did he end up going to the Pacers? Yeah, I think he did. But I like this move from the Warriors, and I think Jonathan Kuminga is a horrible basketball player. Keep on the lookout for Buddy Hield as a potential buyout candidate, by the way. Trace Jackson Davis, there it is. He went to the Raptors, not the Warriors. And that's what took the Raptors out of the Daniel Gafford sweepstakes, essentially. So that was unfortunate. And then this morning, the Lakers made a pretty solid move acquiring Luke Kennard from the Hawks for Gabe Vincent in a second-round pick. Lakers desperately needed shooting, so they go out and get Mr. Luke Kennard. And then Shams Charania reported just moments after that the Bucks are telling teams they are not going to move Giannis and are making other trades. And quite literally, I would say 1 minute later, they made that move. They traded for Nick Richards and Nigel Hayes-Davis in exchange for Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey. And that's kind of where we sit here from on out. The most recent trade that occurred was the Knicks getting Jose Alvarado from the Pels for Dalen Terry in 2 seconds, in addition to cash. So that's where we stand here at the moment, and then we wait and see what the Dallas Mavericks do. And of course, if the Mavs make a move, you know we will have you covered right here on the channel. So hit that subscribe button, and I have one last request for you guys. One last request here at the moment, and then we can just really start the conversation and we can have a little two-way street. I need you guys to like the video for me if you haven't already. We've got 150 people in the building right now. Hit that like button so we can send this YouTube live stream out to more Mavericks fans. Free and easy way to help out the channel. Pushes us into the algorithm and gets us going here on a Thursday afternoon. Marco says, with Hield gone, wouldn't the Warriors want Klay back? I didn't really think about that, but certainly possible. I don't know if Klay would want to go back to the Warriors, if I'm being honest. I think that thing didn't really end particularly well with Klay and Golden State. We can do a little trade machine here and see if there's a trade that would work. But I don't hate that idea. Yes, sir, Kent. Hit that like indeed. Love the Stars and Mavs like no other. Kent, I would die for the Dallas Stars. I was watching the game. I watch almost every Dallas Stars game. Like, I am absolutely obsessed with the Stars. Grew up playing hockey in DFW, so the Stars, love them to death, and I really, really hope that they can get over the hump this year. Arnetta says, do we trade Derek Lively? Derek Lively will not be traded right now, especially because he's out for the season after undergoing that foot surgery. So he will not be traded this offseason. Into the offseason is certainly a possibility. I think once the Mavericks reach the offseason, the only player on this team that I will 100% guarantee won't be traded, and I know the 100% guarantee is a fool's errand because we thought that before and then 77 got traded, but I will 100% guarantee Cooper Flagg will not be traded. Outside of that, though, on this team, everyone's up for grabs, man. Derek Lively's up for grabs because, let's face it, in his 3 years in the NBA, hasn't stayed healthy enough. Daniel Gafford, absolutely on the block. PJ Washington in the offseason, because he can't be traded right now, absolutely on the block. Like, I think we're looking at a team that could look, rather significantly different next year. As I mentioned, the goal for this Mavericks team is to build around Cooper Flagg. That is the goal. That is goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3. Build around Cooper Flagg. What up, Texology? Hope you're doing well, my friend. When will Kyrie play? They're going to reevaluate Kyrie after the All-Star break. I don't think Kyrie's going to play this season. There's no need to bring him back at this point. Like, the Mavs aren't in contention for anything, and it would behoove the Mavericks to align themselves and give themselves as many ping pong balls as possible in the lottery in mid-May. So I don't know if Kyrie comes back this season. I really, really don't. Moses Moody for Klay. I'm not a Moses Moody fan, but if the money works, the money works. I'll go back to that to the trade machine here in just a moment. Naji has not been traded yet, Evie. Naji is still on the team at the moment. Yes, we cannot trade PJ Mavericks greatness because he signed that contract extension in September, which prohibits the Mavericks from trading him this year because he has a 6-month trade restriction. That 6-month ends in March, while the trade deadline is in an hour and 40 minutes. So the Mavericks cannot trade PJ this season. They have to wait until the offseason to move him. And you know what? Like, given how PJ's played this year, I think I'd be okay moving him. Just, I don't like how PJ's played, if I'm being honest with you. I really don't. I don't think he's played well enough at all. Also, shout out to my boy Tristan Thurman for sending in the first super chat of the day. No super chats are required, but they are greatly appreciated as they go directly back to helping out the channel, allowing us to do live shows like this, allowing us to go live for some Mavericks watch parties as well. We go live about once a week for Mavericks games. So if you like what you're seeing, come check us out because we absolutely love doing those live shows here. And the super chats go directly back to allowing us to do that. It's the money sign with the rectangular box around it. You just select your amount, put your message in there, and we'll put you up on screen right here. Appreciate all of the support y'all have given me over the last couple of years, man. It really does mean the world. And this team is my life. Like, I absolutely love this team. I've been watching this team every day for the better part of 20 plus years, and I just live and breathe Mavericks basketball. So just I love all the support. It really does mean the world to me. So thank y'all in advance. We got another super chat coming in, my guy, from Q Dog. We'll get you on screen here in in just a moment here. And let me ask y'all another question here, because I think that this Mavericks team is, I don't think, as I say, I think they're going to be a seller. I don't think they're going to be a buyer. But I'll ask this anyways, because maybe you can be in the offseason or whatever. Name a player you want the Mavs to trade for. Not trade away, but trade for. Down there in the comment section. Let me know. Arnetta says, do you think any of our new players will play today against the Spurs? I would highly doubt it, Arnetta. I don't foresee that happening. First of all, I'm not sure that the trade has even gone official yet. Let me double check on that for you, Arnetta. And Q-Dog, we will get your super chat up on screen as soon as possible. Yeah, the trade has not even gone official yet, Arnetta. So no, the Mavericks will not have any of the new players available yet. There was rumors out there as well that I forgot to mention this, which is on me. Marvin Bagley, Khris Middleton, and Malaki Branham, all of whom the Mavericks acquired from the Washington Wizards, could all be bought out and released by the Mavericks. Like, we may never see Marvin Bagley or Khris Middleton wear the Mavericks uniform. I think it would be interesting if we did, for a couple of reasons. For Khris Middleton's sake, obviously a guy from Texas A&M who has local ties. It'd be interesting to see him wear the Mavs uniform. And then Marvin Bagley, who was drafted one pick ahead of Luka in the 2018 NBA draft. It'd be interesting to see him in a Mavs uniform. And Bagley, I think Bagley can still play a little bit. Like, this year, he's averaging 10 points and 5 boards. He stayed relatively healthy on an expiring deal. Could the Mavericks potentially get something out of Bagley in the second half of the year and then re-sign him to an extension? Could be something worth looking at. But we did get a super chat from my man Q-Dog. What up, Q-Dog? Would you play Kyrie in the last month to up value? I can absolutely see the reasoning behind that. If the Mavericks are set on trading Kyrie in the offseason, then I absolutely would do that, Q-Dog. And I would let Kyrie play the final 15 to 20 games of the season when he's ready to go. However, from all reports, it sounds like the Mavs are committed to Kyrie for next season, and Kyrie is committed to the Mavs for next season as well. So I think that the Mavericks would be the most beneficial course of action for the Mavericks right now is to sit Kyrie for the rest of the season. As much as that would pain me, I absolutely love Kyrie Irving and love watching him play basketball. Unfortunately, and it sucks because there's nothing more that I hate than losing. I hate when my teams lose, man. I do. But it's the best thing for the Mavericks for the rest of the season. Kyrie sits. The Mavs position themselves in the lottery. You hopefully get a top 10, God willing, top 5 pick. You bring Kyrie back alongside that top 5 pick, alongside Cooper Flagg, alongside hopefully a healthy Derek Lively. And then you have something to work with. You have cap space as well. You have other draft picks as well. So this team could be in a position to compete next season if they make all the right moves. And that's a big if. It's a very, very big if. Q-Dog says LaMelo Ball would be awesome next to Flagg. I'm not a LaMelo Ball fan personally. Not something I could do. Middleton, Klay Thompson, and Caleb Martin for Giannis. I'm in. Send it into the Milwaukee Bucks. Send it into the Bucks. I think the Bucks may block our numbers if we did that. Markkanen would be a dope fit. I'd love Lauri Markkanen. That'd be awesome. I'd be a fan of Markkanen, but it sounds like they want to keep Markkanen there in Utah, and they want to play ultra big with Jaren Jackson, Markkanen, and Walker Kessler. That's what it sounds like. Shams is reporting the Bucks genuinely believe that they can build a contender around Giannis. You are absolutely correct, my friend. He is an absolute monster, and he's only going to get better from here, which is why every move the Mavericks make has to have the thought of Cooper Flagg and where he is and where he is going. Every thought has to be with Cooper Flagg in mind. There's no question about that. No question about that. Tank for Peterson, he's like Kobe. I'd love to get Darren Peterson. Unfortunately, I think Darren Peterson's the number 1 overall pick. And are the Mavs getting the number 1 overall pick in back-to-back years? I would highly, highly doubt it. I'd highly, highly doubt it. If you get in that top 3, though, and you get one of DeBonsa, Peterson, or Boozer, I mean, shit, I'd be all in on that, man. I really would. That would be unbelievable if you could do that. That would be absolutely unbelievable. Oh, imagine Darren Peterson next to Cooper Flagg. That would just be so sick. Like that, having that young core, that would like immediately elevate you into one of the premier destinations in the league. It really would. It really would. Got another super chat coming in from Q-Dog, which we will get to here in just a moment. But that's what I want to do. Okay, yes. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We've got Mavericks news, rumors. We're going to be covering, obviously, the rest of the trades here in the next 92 minutes or so. The NBA draft, which we are going to hit heavy coming up here over the next couple of months or so because the Mavericks are going to have a top 10, top 5 pick in the NBA, free agency, and more, 100% free. Just hit that subscribe button at youtube.com/MavsTV, and you know we will have you covered with all of the latest Mavericks news and rumors all year long. All year long. I loved Luka, but he wasn't dunking on everyone's head. Luka's, I've said this on the channel, and it's an unpopular opinion. He's my favorite player ever, and that includes Dirk Nowitzki. Like he really is, and I feel some type of way about him, Kent. I do. But we got to find a way to move forward. I am trying extremely hard to move forward. It's almost impossible when he's on TV every night doing what he's doing, but I'm trying. But I absolutely agree with you there, Mavs greatness. Boozer will have a decent career, but Darren Peterson is one of those guys. I absolutely agree. Could not agree more with that. I think Peterson is the clear-cut number 1 for me at the moment. DeBonsa is 2. I really like AJ DeBonsa, don't get me wrong. Like, if you get him, yeah, you're nice. I think the game just comes easy to AJ, and I really like how he doesn't really force anything. He doesn't look out of place there on the court. Like, it's where he belongs. And I think him and Flagg at your wings is a really, really, really good wing tandem. I do. Ooh, Sergeant Cigar, Mavs fan here since Dirk, Nash, Finley, Van Exel era. That's awesome. That's very cool, man. That's also when I've been a Mavs fan. The first Mavericks game that I remember going to was, well, number 1, I was at the first ever Mavericks game at the American Airlines Center. But the first one that I ever remember going to was the Game 7 against Portland in, was it 2003? 03? That was the first Mavericks game I ever remember going to. Man, I grew up on Dirk Nowitzki. I grew up on Steve Nash. I grew up on Jason Kidd, on Jason Terry. All of those guys, man. Those are my guys. That's where I grew up being a Mavs fan. Mark White. What up, Mark White? Welcome back to the show, my guy. I personally think DeBonsa is the best player in the draft and would draft him. Hey, you couldn't go wrong there. Like, you honestly could not go wrong with drafting AJ DeBonsa. Like, I would be completely okay with that. You would not get me you would not anger me with that whatsoever if you were to draft him. So, I would be all in on that. All right, let's kind of recap things and look at where we are. We haven't had a trade here in a while, in like the last hour or so. Mike Griffith, what up? What up? The most recent trade we had was Jose Alvarado heading to the New York Knickerbockers for Dalen Terry, 2 second-round picks, cash considerations. That is the most recent trade that we had. we've had a couple of trades go down today as Chris Boucher headed to the Utah Jazz. Full details are TBD on that one, but Chris Boucher heads from the Celtics to the Jazz. The Celtics acquired Nikola Vucevic a couple days ago for Anthony Simons, so they got their center there. They have that all figured out. The Bucks earlier today acquired Nick Richards and Nigel Hayes-Davis from the Suns in exchange for Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey. Now, that's a trade that came 30 seconds basically after Shams said the Bucks are not moving Giannis. And, in fact, Shams then came out and said that they would be trying to build a contender around Giannis this offseason. Look, Giannis has been – it's weird, man. Like, he has requested a trade, but he hasn't. Like, I don't know. So the Bucks are apparently going to try to build a contender around him this offseason. And they went out and got Nick Richards, who I think is a solid backup center, to be honest with you. The Lakers went out and got Luke Kennard from the Hawks in exchange for Gabe Vincent and a 2032 second-round pick. Christopher says, Elijah Arenas may be the draft pick. Coop and Arenas. I saw Elijah Arenas played the other night. One second. I saw Arenas played the other night, but he hasn't really played, right? Because he got in that crazy car accident, didn't he? He got in that crazy accident, so Arenas really hasn't played a whole lot. I'd be interested in him, though. I mean, he's a 5-star recruit for a reason, right? He was a 5-star recruit for a reason. Yeah, I really like that trade for the Lakers. I mean, Luke Kennard's shooting 49% from 3 this year. Now, it's only on about 3 attempts a night. But, man, imagine him in the Luka offense. He might shoot 65% from 3. Honestly. The Bulls have been like the most busy team here at the trade deadline. Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, and 4 second-round picks in exchange for Ayo Dosunmu and Julian Phillips. Let me make sure. I don't remember if I got to yours. Oh, let me go back to this, Q-Dog. I'm so sorry. I lost track. Swap Kyrie for Ja or Brunson fits timeline. Oh, boy. Q-Dog. I would love Jalen Brunson back here in Dallas. The Knicks are not going to even entertain that, unfortunately. Like, I would not trade Kyrie for Ja Morant. I don't think Ja is a player that is conducive to winning. I don't think that you can win anything, frankly, with Ja Morant. And that's why Memphis can't even find a deal for him. Like, Memphis may have to attach draft capital to trade Ja Morant away. I would not do that deal. I would love JB back. The Knicks would laugh at us if we offered them Kyrie for Jalen Brunson. So, unfortunately, neither of these are going to happen. But, look, I would love JB back in Dallas. That'd be sick. That's my guy right there. Like, I would love him. But I don't foresee that happening there, my friend. I just don't. I don't see it. Jonathan Kuminga, is someone that we've talked about quite a lot here on the channel. Him and Buddy Hield headed to the Hawks in exchange for our good friend Kristaps Porzingis. Look, I think that's a solid trade for the Warriors. I think KP as a stretch 5 alongside Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Brandon Pajemski, and everybody else they have on that roster, Moses Moody as well. Like, I think that's a pretty decent trade for them, to be honest with you. I do think that's a solid trade for them. Let's offer the Knicks Kidd, says Marco. Jason Kidd's staying. I'll say this, though. Like, I've been a Jason Kidd fan for the most part. It's been a little weird lately with everything he's said in the media. It's been a little weird lately with everything he said. I've always been a J Kidd fan, but he has not had the greatest, 24 hours or so in front of the camera, that's for sure. Best coaching fit since he's developing Cooper Flagg. I agree. Like, I know I'm in the minority with Mavericks fans, but I think Jason Kidd's a good coach. And I think he is the right coach for Cooper Flagg at this point in time. Is he the right coach to win a championship with the Dallas Mavericks? I don't know. That I don't know. But I do think that he is the right coach to develop Cooper Flagg here in the first couple of years. I absolutely do. I do. Lawrence, what up? Welcome back. Trade deadline has been crazy, especially towards the end. Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't had a trade here in the last in the last almost like hour and a half. This, and as I said, this coming in from Tim McMahon, I had just mentioned this. There is a team that is interested in acquiring Ja Morant, but they want Memphis to attach picks to take on Ja Morant. So he has no trade value at this point. If I'm the Mavericks, I'm not going anywhere near him. Not going anywhere near him whatsoever. Not happening. Michael, what up? Is Gafford going to be traded or will he stay? I think Daniel Gafford stays with the Mavericks past the deadline. I'll put my stamp on it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I do think that Gaff will be a Mav for at least the rest of the season. And then maybe he'll get traded in the offseason. Maybe. Kyrie's impact on the roster will be like Durant with the Rockets timeline overblown. Like in a positive way, yes, I would agree. You can keep, if Kyrie wants to retire a Dallas Maverick, you let him retire a Dallas Maverick. Like that's how important I think Kyrie has been to this franchise over the last couple of years. So I would have zero problem whatsoever with keeping Kyrie on this roster. That would be great and cool with me, my friends. Cool with me. What up, Noah? Trade Gafford and our 2031 first to the Hornets for our 2027 back? I mean, not the worst idea in the world. I don't think the Hornets would be too particularly interested in that because the chances of the 27 first being better than the 2031 are pretty high at this point. So I don't think they would be particularly interested in that. I do not. Let's see. I'd let Gafford go. Now we're in the summer. Musa, Lively, and Bagley is decent. Yeah, Bagley is on an expiring contract, though. So the Mavericks may even buy Marvin Bagley out, and he may not even be a part of this roster going forward, which would be sad. I would like to see what it looks like with Marvin Bagley. I really would. All right, let's play this game as well. More or less than 9.5 trades today. Type M for more or type L for less and let me know what y'all think. Let's see where are we at, and we'll count. We'll start counting. We've got the Dillingham trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 trades today. 5 trades today. Messiah says more. JD Rod says less. Kent says less. Dan says more. Clayton says less. Sergeant Sagara says more. Christopher more. Michael less. We're at 5 at the moment. Will there be 5 more trades in the next 80 minutes? I'm going to go less. Lawrence, you'll push. And Gafford is a great player to have on the roster. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I do think Gaff is a great player to have on this roster going forward. I do. Yes, the Mavericks do play basketball tonight, by the way. They play the San Antonio Spurs this evening, and they're going to be extremely shorthanded because the players that they acquired more than likely will not be available to them tonight. And it all depends on what they decide. The AD trade is not officially finalized yet. So we'll have to see if like a third team gets involved or if they try to expand that trade into a bigger one. And then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah. What up, Sergeant? I think they can let go of Lively. He's always injured. They cannot extend Derek Lively this offseason. That much I can tell you. You can't extend him. As you mentioned, he doesn't play enough games to warrant that. He doesn't play enough games to warrant an extension, right? So I don't think you can extend him either. I don't think you can. Tank is on. Just give my boy Musa a bunch of playing time. I'm in. I'm in on giving Musa playing time. I'm in on giving Nembhard and Kelly playing time. If you get Bagley, I'm in on giving him PT and then letting Coop just run the show and cook. I'm interested in all of that. I would love to trade Caleb Martin if we could, but he's played it well enough over the last 10 games to where he maybe has some value. Maybe. Trade Gaff to Pacers for Jay Huff and picks. What kind of picks? We'll see. Matt says, come on, Dallas, make one more move. If the Mavericks make a move, who do y'all think it'll be for? Let me know down in the comments if the Mavericks make a move, who y'all think it will be for down there. Look, I think the Mavs could make, I've mentioned there's multiple moves I think this team can make. Daniel Gafford, Naji Marshall, Caleb Martin, Klay Thompson. Those are the 4 to look at as far as who the Mavericks could be moving out here in the next hour and 18 minutes or so. Exactly. Martin he's played better in the last 10 games or so. He's basically having his career averages, which is all you can ask for, if I'm being frank, from Caleb Martin. So I'm cool with how he is playing, but I would like to trade him and get off that contract. Again, the only person who thought Caleb Martin had a good contract, yeah, he's no longer employed by the Mavericks, and you all know who that guy is. If you haven't already as well, give me a follow on Twitter at Jeff_Coop27. Always tweeting about the Mavericks, Dallas sports, the Longhorns, soccer, whatever you like. I'm probably tweeting about it, and I probably have an opinion about it too. So go give me a follow over on Twitter at Jeff_Coop27. Once again, I appreciate all of the support y'all are bringing me. Messiah says, get Gaff for RJ Barrett. Yeah, I'll pass on that. No RJ Barrett for me. I'm good on that one. And the Raptors just acquired Trace Jackson Davis, so they don't need a center either. Oh, it's all good, Kent. All good. I'm not letting Gafford go or Washington, period. I would absolutely be interested in letting PJ go just because, like, PJ hasn't played well this year at all. Like, when you watch him play, he's just, his head is not in the game. He's lazy with the ball. He turns it over too much. He's inefficient. He isn't making like the easy floaters and jumpers from inside the paint that he was making with almost automatically last season and the season before. What's the common denominator there? You had 77 on the court to make him look better, right? So, I think in the offseason, I could easily see the Mavericks moving on from PJ Washington. And excuse me. And I wouldn't hate it if they did either. Klay has to get moved, says Dan. You don't have to move Klay. I'd be okay with moving him, though. Look, he's still shooting it well, and I think he still provides something to this team. The veteran leadership is definitely valuable. Still shooting well. So I'm cool with keeping Klay. Bagley, Moose, Gaff, PJ, Klay with Nembhard, Bewell, and Flag. Let him cook. Yeah, let him cook. That's kind of what it'll look like for the rest of the season. It's kind of what it'll look like. Don't Klay and Middleton play the same position? Yeah, Middleton probably isn't going to be here for a long time. I think Middleton's going to end up getting bought out. If he played the rest of the season for the Mavericks, I'd be pretty surprised. Maybe he plays a couple games for us, but I'd be pretty surprised if he actually ended up playing the entire rest of the season with the Mavericks. I think he's going to get bought out and go to a contender. That's what I foresee. Let's see. 1, 2, make a trade. That's what I foresee. We need a center who can actually stay healthy, says Clayton. You are correct on that, Mr. Clayton. That is an inarguable point. Gaff can't stay healthy. AD couldn't stay healthy. D-Live can't stay healthy. We need a center that can play a consistent amount of games. That is for sure. If you guys want the Mavs to make a trade, spam those me's down in the comment section, giving shout-outs to everyone who spams me. Appreciate all that support. Yeah, Dan, I would lean towards Khris Middleton getting bought out, to be honest. Like, I would say it's like a 75-80% chance that it happens. I see Kent, I see Michael, I see my guy Mark White, Sergeant Segara, Mike Griffith, Daniel J. Mart. Shout out. Brent Workman, what up, Brent? How's it going? Christopher, oh yeah, 60% chance the Mavs make one more trade, 40% chance they stand pat. That's a good question. We'll actually ask the real ones that as well. Keep getting those me's. Shout out Baster. Shout out Mart, or is that Marty? Shout out Marty. Percent chance the Mavs make another trade. Scale 1. All right, that's a great talking point. What is the percent chance that the Mavericks make another trade today? What is the percent chance that the Mavericks make another trade today? Scale it from 1 to 100 down there in the comment section and let me know. As we are 1 hour and 12 minutes away from the trade deadline, I'm going to go with a 24% chance that the Mavs make another move. Y'all are more optimistic than me. Mark White says 35. Rocky says 60. Clayton 75. JD Rod 75. 50, 15 from Michael. 40 from Trenton. 50 from Daniel. 24%. Yeah, that's where I'm at, LJ. Mike Griffith, my guy, says 40. 25% from Carson. Oh, Brent Workman. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me, Brent Workman. Brent Workman says 77%. Ugh. My sweet, glorious king. I will never forget you. 41 from Messiah. See, that one brings the good feels, not the bad feels. 25%, 50%. So we're kind of all around the board here at the moment. Let's see. And then I saw a question in the chat as well. Oh, from Ken. Why keep them? I don't understand. I understand why you would think that as well. But on the contrary to that, Kent, don't make a deal just to make a deal, right? You don't want to just go out there and trade someone for the sake of trading someone. That's kind of what Nico did last year with Luka. And that's just not a good business practice and the way you should operate. If the right deal is out there, absolutely go and make it. And I'm super cool with, frankly, whatever Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi decide they want to do here. If they decide that they want to make a move, go make a move. If they decide that, yeah, we don't like what's out there for the team and we don't think that there's a move out there that makes us better in the future, don't. Don't make a move just to make a move is basically what I'm saying. Yeah, Lawrence, if Klay wanted that and the Mavericks thought it was in the best interest, absolutely. You can go trade Klay. Max Christie is staying. Max Christie will stay for sure, Mr. Lawrence. Got to keep Max. I don't see him. He's not untradeable. Yeah, but he's pretty close to untradeable, I would say. He's not untradeable, though. Only one untradeable. Number 32. Exactly, Carson. If the best offer you get is just the second-round pick, I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him as well. Tell me you can't trust Lively's health, and don't tell me we have to trade off Gafford. I'm not saying we have to trade off Gafford. I'm saying if the offer is right, I would trade Gafford. But also, if you did end up trading Gaff now, you could get another big in the offseason to pair with Derek Lively. That would be no problem. You would find another big man to pair with D-Live. So that part of it wouldn't concern me. The part that would concern me is the return. It would be the return, which I'm just not sure. The return, like if you're getting 2 seconds for Gafford, is that worth moving on from him? No, I don't think so. I think you need a protected one, maybe more. A protected one would probably get it done for me, but I'm fine either way. Mighty says, I wish we had a shot at Giannis. Yeah, me too. I also wish we had a shot at Giannis, but that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. All right. Let's see. Did I miss anything here? We got 200 people in the building. If you haven't already, please go ahead, hit that thumbs up icon. Also, let me know where you're watching from. And we're going to discuss the latest Mavericks rumors, the latest Mavs trade buzz with an hour and 7 minutes to go leading up to the 2026 NBA trade deadline. But I do need to tell you guys about our sponsor of today's show, which of course is PrizePicks. And you guys know what's coming up this Sunday? Yeah, it's the big game. Don't miss out on the final football action of the season over at PrizePicks, where it is always good to be right. PrizePicks is super easy to play. All you do is pick 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch your winnings roll in. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, and Cash App for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season, and it's available to play in all 50 states. No matter where you are in the U.S., you can play PrizePicks. And don't miss out on this unbelievable max discount that they have for you. If you think Drake May is going to throw for more than half a passing yard in the big game, well, you can take that, you can pair it up with a couple of other player stat projections, and you can cash in as well. How do you play? Super easy. Just download the PrizePicks app and use code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play that first $5 lineup. One more time, code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. Gonna put that link in the comments and the description of today's show. And shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this live edition of Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Alrighty. So let's reset it here and let's go back to the Mavs primer. They are obviously selling their biggest needs: cap space, draft capital, young pieces around Cooper Flagg, and they did trade Anthony Davis away in the 8-player deal to the Washington Wizards yesterday. There's PrizePicks in the live chat, by the way. What's going on? My screen. There we go. Okay. Middleton will get bought out. Mike Griffith is Powell back next season. He's a free agent at the end of this year. Would it shock me if Dwight Powell was back next year on a minimum? No, of course not. He's Dwight freaking Powell, so it would certainly not shock me. It would certainly not shock me. Did we get another trade? We did. Denver is trading Hunter Tyson to the Nets for the less favorable of a Clippers-Hawks 2026 second. Wow, what a big trade. Oh my goodness, Kenny coming in with a $5 super chat. My man Kenny. We'll get you on screen. And Matthew Temple as well. Oh, let's go. Let's go. We'll get your super chats up on screen here in just a moment. Package Klay, Gaff, and a 1 for Duren. Klay, Gaff, and a 1 for Duren. The Pistons aren't doing that. Pistons are the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, and Jalen Duren's a great young center in this league. I do not foresee whatsoever the Detroit Pistons accepting that deal. I don't see them accepting that deal. I saw one earlier as well for Benedict Mathurin. Where am I at? Yeah, Jacob. Benedict Mathurin for Daniel Gafford and a role player pick. Are we getting the role player in the pick, or are they getting the role player in the pick? I like Mathurin. I don't hate him. Shout out to my GOAT, Kenny. Has this been the worst 369 day stretch in franchise history? As crazy as this may seem, It's the worst in my fandom, yes. In the franchise's history, no. This team was so bad in the 90s. They were winning like 10 games a year. Legitimately like 10 games a year. As bad as this team is, and as bad as the last year and 4 days have been with the trade and the fallout from the trade and the situation with the now former general manager and all of that, it has been horrific, don't get me wrong. And it has been the worst 369-day stretch in my history as a Mavericks fan. I don't think it is the worst stretch in the 46, 47-year history of the Dallas Mavericks. I do not. As crazy as that may seem. It's a great question, though, Kenny. It's a great question. Appreciate you, my guy. Matt Temple! What do you think we could get for Thompson and Irving? Ooh, it's a great question. Klay Thompson, under contract at about $16.5 million for this year and next. Still can shoot it. Can be a veteran contributor. There's just not really a market for Klay here at the moment. I don't think you're getting a 1 for Klay. A couple of seconds in matching. I think that's what it would end up being. I don't think you're getting a first-round pick for Klay Thompson. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe there is a team out there willing to give up a 1, but I don't see that. For Kyrie Irving, I have nowhere, like, I don't even know where to start with Kyrie. Could you get a first-round pick for Kai coming off a torn ACL in the offseason? They're not trading him right now in the next hour. But could you get a first for him in the offseason? You probably could. Would I trade Kyrie Irving? I would not. I would not trade Kai. I would not trade Kai. Yes, there was a trade here, and shout out to, of course, Kenny and Matt Temple for the super chats, but we will get to the trade that just went down here as we have Josh Minot going to the Brooklyn Nets. TBD on what the Celtics are receiving there. And the Nets also made another move, acquiring Hunter Tyson and a 2032 second-round pick. And the Nuggets are getting a second-round pick this season. So those are the two most recent trades that have happened, and we are up to 7 trades on the day. And remember, we set the more or less at 9.5. At 9.5. So need 3 more to surpass that. 3 more. That is correct, Lawrence. Nico put himself ahead of the team. That did happen. Oh, I said his name. Dang it. I've made a vow on this show to try to not ever say his name, because he doesn't deserve that attention. But you are correct, Lawrence. There is no doubt that is what happened. There is no doubt that is what happened. All right. An hour exactly to go before the trade deadline. If you want the Mavs to make a trade, spam those me's for the next 30 seconds. And then once we hit exactly an hour, we're going to reset. We're going to discuss, obviously, what the Mavericks did, and we'll discuss what they potentially could do here in the next hour. So keep spamming those me's if you want the Mavs to make a trade. Matthew Temple, I see your super chat, which we will get to here in just a moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 hour away from the 2026 NBA trade deadline. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. If you are just joining us, we are 1 hour away from the 2026 NBA trade deadline. My name is Jeffrey Cooperstein. Appreciate you for tuning in to Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. And the Mavericks today have not made a move. And why is that? Well, they made their major move yesterday by trading Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards as part of an 8-player deal. You can see the full details on your screen right here as the Mavericks acquired Khris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malaki Branham, Marvin Bagley, 2 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks. One of those first-round picks being the Oklahoma City Thunder's pick this season, and then a 2030 Warriors heavily protected first-round pick. The Mavericks sent Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to the Wizards. I like this deal for the Mavericks for a couple of reasons. Number one, you get out of the Anthony Davis business. You move on from the stench that was the former general manager. Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum. Absolute jokes. I mean, Dante Exum didn't play a second of basketball this year. D'Angelo Russell is one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen. Jaden Hardy is not an NBA player. The Mavericks were able to get rid of all three of them, so that was good work by Matt Riccardi and Michael Finley. As far as what the Mavericks are getting, A.J. Johnson is the only piece that I think is a potential long-term piece for the Mavericks. There are rumors out there that Khris Middleton and Marvin Bagley could be bought out by the Mavericks here, so they may not even see time with Dallas. But I would be interested in keeping Marvin Bagley, averaging about 10 and 5 this year, and I think he could be a decent piece going forward, so he would be someone that I would certainly be interested in. And if he can prove for the rest of the season that he is good enough and that he is worthy of being on this team, the Mavericks could sign him, re-sign him next year in free agency. I do think that that could be a possibility here. But as we sit 58 minutes away from the NBA trade deadline, the Mavericks are obviously sellers. Their biggest needs, cap space, draft capital, young pieces around Cooper Flagg, and they already made their major move trading Anthony Davis and the 8-player deal to the Washington Wizards. I appreciate all of the 200-plus people who are tuned into the show right now. Y'all are absolute real ones. Let me know where you're watching from down in the comment section, and we'll continue with the conversation here. We got a $2 super chat from my guy Matt Temple. You should rename our former GM Voldemort. He who shall not be named. He who shall not be named. That's what they call Voldemort, right? I'm cool with that. I always just say like that guy or the former general manager or the former idiot in charge. He has a bunch of nicknames for myself. I don't like using his real name, though. Don't like using his real name. Shout out to you, Mike. Oh, we got Michael from Germany. Where in Germany are you watching from, Michael? We got Texology from the Oak Cliff area in Dallas. Appreciate you tuning in, Texology. Oh, yeah. Klay in a second for Sam Hauser from Celtics. I'm not trading away a second to give up Klay to get Hauser. I'll pass on that one. Since the Giannis news, it's been nothing but disappointment. I don't disagree there, Dan. LJ watching from San Antonio. Let's call him the undercover Lakers Glazer. That's pretty good right there, Messiah. That's pretty good. Lawrence, Heidelberg, Germany from Chris. Kaiserslautern from Michael. Charles watching from Nigeria. Awesome. We got an international audience here. We got Brazil in the chat. We got Connecticut in the chat. Probably the only Mavs here surrounded by Celtics and Knicks. Going to Brooklyn to see the Mavs on the 24th. Fansits, Jim Jackson, Jamal Mashburn. That is pretty cool right there, man. Fansits since the Triple J's. That's awesome. Brent Workman watching from Temple. JD, that's legitimately awesome. Like, I'm very excited for you. Go root on the Mavs. For that game, I'll be across the pond. I'll be over in Europe. So no watch party for that one. But yeah, that's pretty sick, man. You should have a good time. You should have a good time. Conrad watching from the Ozark, formerly Euless, Texas. Very cool. Just outside of Dallas. Kent says, I think for sure they have another trade. You think for sure the Mavs have another trade? I certainly would not say for sure. It's definitely possible, though. Fansits, Tom LaGordon, Jim Spinarkle. Oh, my goodness, LJ. That's a good question we can ask. That's a good question we can ask. How long have you been a Mavs fan? How long have you been a Mavs fan? I've been a Mavs fan, obviously, since as long as I can remember. It has been, I remember I went to the first ever game at the American Airlines Center. I have the commemorative ticket for it. And then the first game I remember was the Mavericks against Portland in the playoffs in 2003. That is the last time I remember it. Dan since 2010. LJ since day one. I mean, that's pretty sick, LJ. AJ Adams since 1984. I remember Kiki not wanting to play for us. Oh, my goodness. Kiki Vandeweghe not wanting to play for the Mavericks. I've been told about that story. I obviously don't remember it. Watching the Mavs since Brad Davis. Very cool. Number 15 in the rafters. Brent Workman since 97. Since James Donaldson, says Cannon. R.I.P. R.I.P. James Donaldson. Messiah since 2023. you've dealt with some shit then if you've been a Mavs fan since 2023. Since 03 from Robert. Since Dirk played for the Mavs from Michael. Roy Tarpley was a top talent, but drugs destroyed him. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Mavs fan since Jordan retired for good. Since 97. Very cool. Very cool. Since 02 from Musa Cisse Glazer. What a name that is. Musa Cisse Glazer. That's hilarious. You were at the 87 Western Conference Finals. That is legitimately awesome, LJ. That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, my first Mavs memories are of Nick the Quick, Dirk, Rafe LaFrentz, Steve Nash. Those are my early memories. Eddie Nahara. Those are my early Mavs memories. I had Michael Finley, obviously. I used to have a Dirk jersey. I still have a Dirk jersey. I used to have a Michael Finley jersey. I had a Josh Howard jersey. I had a Jason Terry jersey. I had a Sean Marion jersey. I had a Jason Kidd jersey. I still have about 3 Luka jerseys. I have a Flag jersey. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I'm missing. I don't think so. I think that covers my Mavericks jersey history. Oh, JJ Barea, JD. One of my favorites ever. One of my favorites ever. Tricks? Who doesn't love Tricks, Vitao? Who doesn't love Tricks? In 07, we almost had Kobe traded for very low assets. We did almost have Kobe in 07. Mark Cuban tells that story all the time. That we almost had him. Solid super chat coming here. We'll get to that. Mr. Matt Temple. Appreciate you, my man. Yeah, the Mavericks did almost have Kobe in 07 for like Jason Terry, Josh Howard, and I think like a couple of first-round picks. I don't remember exactly what it was. Do you ever play NBA 2K? I'm loving the Kobe era, playing as the 02-03 Mavs. I used to play 2K a lot. I really haven't played in the last couple of games. I don't know. I really haven't played in the last couple of games 2K. Yeah. I haven't loved it. I do not game nearly as much as I used to. I play Rainbow Six. I play this game called Rematch, which is like a soccer video game, kind of like Rocket League. That's pretty fun. And I play some Fort. I did not get this year's FIFA. This is the first FIFA I haven't gotten in a long time. Oh, we got a trade. Oh, no, we don't. I lied. Saw Twitter notification and got freaked out. Believer says Norm Hitzkiss was the main announcer when I became a Mavs fan. That kind of dates me. Been a fan since the day the Mavs started up. Very cool, Believer. Very, very cool. Absolutely love Norm. What a guy Norm is, man. What a guy Norm is. Yeah, I mean, I've been a Mavs fan as long as I can remember. Didn't really have a choice growing up here in Dallas, so. Since Robert Tractor Trailer, who was famously traded for my guy Dirk Nowitzki. Famously traded for Dirk. I remember Detlef Schrempf and Dale Ellis playing for us. We let go of so much talent like Mark Price as well. Man, y'all are dating before me. I thought I was old. Y'all are dating before me out there. Nah, that's cool just to hear like where everybody's Mavs fandom came from. That's awesome. Messiah, I live in Canada and I'm a huge Mavs fan. Very awesome. Welcome from Canada. Although I hope the U.S. beats you guys in hockey in the Olympics, of course. I remember Evan Eschmeyer, Matt. I'm a big Evan Eschmeyer guy. Who is my dream pickup in the upcoming draft other than the obvious top 3? Great question. Dream pickup other than the obvious top 3. I really like Koa Pete from Arizona. I like Bennett Sturts from Iowa. Who else? Haven't dove super deep into the draft research other than like the top guys. Trying to think who else. Let me go look just so I'm not forgetting any names at the latest top prospects. I just want to make sure that I have all my bearings. You have the obvious top 3 in Peterson, DeBonsa, and Boozer. Caleb Wilson, North Carolina, I really like. He will certainly be a lottery pick. Michael Brown Jr., I believe, isn't Louisville's coming to SMU here very soon, and I was actually planning on going to that game. I want to say that game's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Let me double check. Yeah, Louisville comes here like 10 days from now on the 17th. That could be a game that would be interesting to go see. If you're in the Dallas area, you can go catch a lottery pick player in Michael Brown Jr. from Louisville. Kingston Flemings, doesn't really move me that much. Nate Ament from Tennessee is an intriguing prospect. He really hasn't played a whole lot, so I don't know if I want Nate Ament. Or, excuse me, he has played a whole lot. He hasn't played great. So I don't know if I want Nate Ament there, but yeah, I mean, there are plenty of options for the Mavericks here in the lottery, that's for sure. And it's possible they could even trade that lottery pick. Oh, the Clippers are trading Ivica Zubac to the Pacers. That's a big move right there for the Indiana Pacers, acquiring Ivica Zubac. And that means, all likely, folks, Daniel Gafford is remaining a Dallas Maverick, as that was really the last possible piece, or the last possible place that the Mavericks could have sent Daniel Gafford to. So that is interesting. We'll get that trade up on screen as soon as we have it, but Ivica Zubac heading to the Indiana Pacers. Conrad says, who remembers Mike Uzzolino, Sean Rooks, Lucius Harris, Terry Davis, Popeye? Popeye is on the Mavs coaching staff right now. Popeye is on the Mavericks coaching staff, and his boy Seth Jones, Stanley Cup champion with the Florida Panthers. So, yeah, love Popeye. Good guy, man. I forgot about this name as well. Classics. Appreciate you with the $2 super chat, my man. Really, thank you. Shout out, or thoughts on Nicolas Abdalas out of Virginia Tech. Go watch some Abdalas highlights and tell me who he reminds you of. You all know. You will know right away who he reminds you of. I'm not saying he's going to be that guy, number 77 for the Los Angeles Lakers. His game is very similar to him. Now, am I taking him with the number 7, 6, 8 overall pick? Probably not. I'd be intrigued, though. What up, Debbie? Yes, they did do a trade. We are going to get that trade up on screen as soon as it is in our system. We will get that trade up. Yes, Chris Boucher did go to the Jazz. Jaden Quaintance from Alabama. I'd be cool with that. All right, here it is. Ivica Zubac heading to the Indiana Pacers. The full details are to be determined there on that, of course. We will have you up to date as soon as we hear what the return is for Zubac, but he is heading to the Pacers, although that is backwards. We need to trade that. We need to fix that there. Hang on. Ivica Zubac, the most recent trade, heading to our guy Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers. How interesting is that? The Pacers were in the market for a center ever since they let Miles Turner go to the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, and you had the Clippers receiving him. And also make either the Clippers or Indiana BG2. Thank you. Mavs are best at drafting generational white guys in the NBA. You're not wrong, RG1. You're not wrong. They've done it 3 times. And obviously the Dirk and Luka were technically trades, but yes, they did draft them, so to speak. And they got Flag as well. Are we going to go get Nicolas? I'd be cool with it. Alan Ford, I don't want to get into that conversation because we could just go down a rabbit hole there, and it wouldn't be good for my mental health. What soccer team do I support, Musa Cisse Glazer? That is a great question. I am a diehard Chelsea fan. Diehard Chelsea fan. I watch every single game, even if it's at work, even if it's at 6:30 in the morning. I am waking up watching Chelsea. I'm going to the Chelsea-Arsenal game at the end of this month. Actually, March 1st. I will be over in London watching Chelsea. They are my team. They're probably, no joke, like outside of the Mavericks, I would say Chelsea is my favorite team in sports. I am obsessed with them. No, Alan is not wrong, JD. Alan is certainly not wrong. Certainly not wrong. So the AD trade is basically official, right? They could get a third team involved. That is correct. All right, here we go. The Pacers are receiving Ivica Zubac from the Clippers. The full details, though, are to be announced. We don't know exactly what they're giving up yet. Darius Acuff could be good. Kingston Flemings. We somehow got the pick. Yaxel Lenderborg from Michigan, who I like. Yeah, I like Yaxel as well. Dan, let me pull up the AD trade just to show. But you are correct in the fact that they technically have not made this deal officially official. Or maybe they have and they just haven't announced the trade yet. But here are the full trade details as the Mavericks receive Khris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malaki Branham, Marvin Bagley, 2 firsts and 3 seconds. The first round picks, one being this year's Oklahoma City pick, the other being the 2030 Golden State Warriors pick, which is top 20 protected. If that pick does not convey, it becomes 2 seconds. So essentially, it's a first and 5 second round picks, a first and 5 second round picks is essentially what it would be. And then the Mavericks sent out AD, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to the Wizards. There is the potential for a third team to get involved. I don't know what exactly that would entail, but the trade has not been officially announced yet. Robert says Barca all the way. Oh, can't stand Barcelona. Can't stand them. Inter Milan, Barca, and Miami. I don't particularly like Inter. I like AC Milan for Pulisic. But nonetheless, we are 41 minutes away from the trade deadline. This is the only move that the Mavericks have made. I don't think the Mavericks are going to make another move. I want to be wrong, but I don't see them making another move. My guy Nick Roloff, who is the host of the Miami Heat Report here at Chat Sports, he's in the studio next to me. He is dying 1,000 deaths right now because the Miami Heat are the only team in the East that have not made a trade. And you know he is just absolutely freaking out. Robert, Chelsea beat Barcelona 3-0 earlier this season. Will the percent chance the Mavericks make another trade today? Scale it 1 to 100 down in the comment section. And also, if you're watching us, hit that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. Free and easy way to help out our channel. Let's see where we're at in terms of likes. We've got 220 people in the building. Can we get to 100 likes? That would be awesome if we could do that. If you're a diehard Mavs fan, like this stream for me. Diehard fan of basketball, whatever it is, like this stream. Musa Cisse Dagger says 13%. Alan Ford, 0%. Michael says 1%. Carson, 5%. Still at 24%, says LJ. RIP Kobe. And shout out Mark Aguirre, who got his number retired last week. Excuse me. Shout out to Mark Aguirre, who got his number retired. Like the video for me. They trade PJ after the season, but before draft night? Yes, that is certainly possible. PJ will not be traded here because he can't be, but after the season, before the draft, I could absolutely see them trading PJ Washington. Why does Dallas need to make another move today as opposed to the summer? He does. they don't necessarily have to make a move today. They could wait till the summer. Like I said, if they don't find the right deal, then that's fine. If they don't find the right deal, that's okay. By the way, in that Clippers-Pacers deal, Benedict Mathurin is heading to the Los Angeles Clippers. Benny Math was on the trade block basically for the Indiana Pacers, and he is getting sent to Inglewood in exchange for Ivica Zubac and a couple of other assets, I would assume. I would be shocked if this trade was straight up. Maybe it is, but I don't know. Like, the Pacers desperately needed a big man after letting Miles Turner go in the summer. And Ivica Zubac, who I think is an excellent player, that's a good pickup for them, man. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton and Ivica Zubac next year is a very, very good tandem. They send out Benedict Mathurin. I like that move. If I'm Indiana. We can finally sign Musa to a full contract. Yeah, Musa and Ryan Nembhard could be signed to full contracts. That certainly could happen. Have we done enough to sign both of them? I mean, technically no, because the roster is still at 15. So it depends on what they do with Khris Middleton. It depends on what they do with Malaki Branham and with Marvin Bagley. Our roster is still currently full at 15 players. Now, I'd be surprised if neither Middleton or Bagley got bought out. I'd be pretty surprised. But we'll see what happens here in the next day. The buyout deadline is March 1st, I believe. So keep an eye on that date as far as the buyouts go. Irving, Christie, Flag, Washington, Lively starting lineup in 2026. Irving, Christie, Flag, Washington, Lively. Or, I don't hate that. Irving, lottery pick, Christie, Flag, Lively. The lottery pick at the 2 or the 3. Or at the 4. What about that? I just think the Mavs need to move on from PJ Washington this offseason. I just think they do. Yeah, and that's a great question. That's a great caveat as well, Justin. If Lively's not hurt. It's a big if because he's always hurt. Big if. Have not seen the rest of the trade. Oh, I have not seen the rest of the trade. Oh my. Maybe that is the whole trade, and it's just straight up Mathurin for Zubac. Maybe it is. It would be pretty shocking if that was the case, but maybe it is indeed. And remember, there are deals that can trickle in as well. So don't be surprised if there is a deal that gets announced at, I don't know, 306 or something like that. Don't be surprised. Hit that sub button as well. If you haven't already, we are covering the Mavericks all throughout the season, the offseason. Draft season is going to be crazy because we will have nonstop draft coverage here on the Dallas Mavericks. So stay locked in because things are about to get interesting with this offseason surrounding the Mavs, and I'm pretty excited for it. All right, we do have the full details here between the Clippers and the Pacers. The Clippers are receiving Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. The Pacers are getting Ivica Zubac and Kobe Brown. So there is the deal. 1 second-round pick. Excuse me, I read it wrong. I have dyslexia. I read it wrong. 2 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick. Thank you to intern Jack for correcting me, and intern Durham for correcting me. I appreciate that. Can you make the Pacers BG2? Because it's both blue. Shout out to everyone behind the scenes. All right? Legend. Thank you. There was too much blue on the screen. Blue background, 2 blue trades. We needed some gold in there. So thank you to producer Jack Lauderay, who is the absolute best Go follow the Red Sox channel if you're into baseball. Red Sox made a move yesterday. Don't remember what it was, but I know they made a move. Exactly, Justin. Gaff has been down a lot, too. That's the problem with this team. Nobody can stay healthy. Anthony Davis played 29 games for us. Absolute embarrassing, man. Embarrassing. Yeah, the Clippers do have Brook Lopez still. I like this trade, though. I like this trade for Indiana. Will the Mavericks make a trade here in the next 33 minutes and change? That is the question that we have to ask ourselves. The Lakers made their deal today as well, getting Luke Kennard in exchange for Gabe Vincent in a second-round pick. But will the Mavs make the trade? Ansel says, Pacers traded 2026 first, and it's only top 5 protected. I mean, Zubats is worth that. Zubats is worth that. He has played unbelievable this year. He's one of the best centers in the league. So I would be in on that as well. Shout out to the real ones as well that have sent in super chats. I want to make sure you guys get special shout outs. Tristan Thurman. I see Classic. Matthew Temple. My boy Kenny. And Q-Dog. Shout out to y'all for sending in all the super chats. No super chats are required whatsoever. They are greatly appreciated, though, as they go back to helping out the channel, allowing us to do live streams like this, allowing us to do watch parties as well for other Mavericks games. If you're tuning in today for the first time, I really hope you guys come back and join us for the watch parties, because those are honestly my favorite things that we do. We watch the game, watch along, hang out, talk Mavs hoops. Those are my favorite times of the day. As we did just get another one in. Shout out to JNT, which we'll get up on screen as well. If you have a question, JNT, drop it in the chat there. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. So Zubats goes to the Pacers, which means that the Mavericks, I would say, are probably done. The Pacers were kind of the last frontier, so to speak, for Daniel Gafford. And now that they got Zubats, don't see Gafford getting moved. Don't see Gafford getting moved. Eli, not tonight, unfortunately. Not tonight. Not tonight. Too much to get done here at Chat Sports with the trade deadline and our other obligations when it comes to the NFL and stuff like that. So, unfortunately, not tonight. Yeah. Playmakers. Yeah, he set career highs and all of that. Who was there for the first 50 games of the season? Why do you think he set those highs? Come on. 77. That's why he set those highs. Best stretch of his career was with Luka. Go look at the numbers February on. Yeah, the Hawks got Jock Landale yesterday. So they don't need a center either. Got to do better than that. I'm dead. My Twitter's going off. I don't know why. But hey, if you follow me on Twitter at Jeff_Coop27, we can obviously continue that conversation. I love talking Mavs on Twitter with other people. So go give me a follow there, because the conversation continues after our live stream. I'm talking 24/7 Mavericks content over there, and whatever else you want to talk about as well. Twitter is my favorite app. Jacob, sorry, I don't think any more trades for the Mavericks today. I would agree as well, unfortunately, Jacob. I don't think any more trades for the Mavericks today either. Let me get that super chat up on screen. It should be loaded into our system now. Yes. Wow. What a name this is. No one cares with the $2 super chat. Well, thank you for the $2 super chat. No one cares. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Do the Mavs pick someone up from the buyout market? No, I would highly doubt it. I think, if anything, they end up buying out Marvin Bagley, Khris Middleton. I don't think they will pick up anybody on the buyout. Now, I'll say this. Ramona Shelburne did say that the Mavericks would be an interesting landing spot for Chris Paul. Why would Chris Paul want to come to the Mavericks, right? We're not a contending team this season. It is CP3's last year in the NBA, more than likely, as he's going to call it quits after a very long, illustrious Hall of Fame career. I know him and Cooper Flagg did work out this past summer together. I just don't see the fit between the Mavericks and Chris Paul. I don't see the fit between the Mavs and Chris Paul. I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know why Chris Paul would be an option for the Mavericks. Perfect. I think it's a good trade for the Pacers. I mean, they got the center of their future. Yeah, it cost them 2 first-round picks, but they did get the center of the future. Who will be there to draft at number 7 or number 8? We will go way deeper into the draft. We'll go way deeper into the draft starting next week. But you're looking at guys like Nate Ament from Tennessee, potentially Caleb Wilson from North Carolina. There will be plenty of good players for the Mavericks to take at 7 or 8, if that is indeed where they end up landing. I mean, hopefully the Mavs end up in the top 4, right? That'd be awesome. But don't know if that's going to happen again. 26 minutes away from the trade deadline. Do you guys think the Mavs will make another move? Do you think the Mavericks will make another move? Type Y for yes or type N for no down there in the comment section. Will Dallas make another move? I don't think they will. Shareable says no. Mike Griffith says no. I agree, Mike. Boop. Musa says no. Alex says, I think they will. JD says no. What about the 30th? Yeah, I don't know much about the back end of the first round, to be honest with you. I don't know much. Oh, I got the wrong one there. Oh, no. Oh, no. There we go. Type Y for yes or type N for no. Will the Mavericks make another move? Jacob says no. Eli, no. LJ, no. I don't know. Yeah. Anson, I don't know much about the back end of the first round, to be honest with you. That is a spot where I think the Mavericks should take like a 3 or 4 year college player who is probably ready to play. Maybe a lower ceiling player that has a higher floor that could help the Mavericks right away. That's what I'd be looking at there with that Thunder pick. And then we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they trade that pick for somebody else, or they trade it to move back to get more picks. I think a lot is on the table there with the 30th, potentially the 29th pick. What could you get for Gaff and PJ in the summer? That's a great question. Cher, what could you get? I think you could get probably a first for PJ Washington. I think you could probably get a protected first, maybe a couple seconds for Daniel Gafford. Like, deadlines certainly make deals, and I don't think the Mavericks are under any pressure to make a deal here. So I think it's all up in the air at this point. Like, we'll see what happens in the next 23 minutes, and then after that, we can start discussing what the Mavericks are going to do in the offseason. A.J. Johnson is going to be a diamond in the rough, says Alan. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. If you remember, A.J. Johnson was actually signed to play at the University of Texas for college basketball, but he ended up going to Australia and playing his year between high school and the draft overseas. And he ended up there. But A.J. Johnson was a very highly recruited player coming out of high school in the area. So I could see A.J. Johnson being a decent player for the Mavericks. I like Caleb Wilson, Josh. I like Caleb Wilson a lot. I'm cool with Caleb Wilson. Oh, wow. The Jazz made a run at Walker Kessler and made a package highlighted by 2 unprotected first-round picks. The Pacers tried to go get Walker Kessler from the Jazz for 2 unprotected firsts, and the Jazz said no. So they pivoted to Ivica Zubac. Package that pick for a young established player in the league already. Definitely possible, playmakers. I could see that. Good package that the 29th or 30th overall pick for a guy who is younger and established that may not be super working out with this team that the Mavericks could try to acquire and rehab. I could see that. I could see that. I don't think any more trades happen either. Oh, there is a trade, and it's the Mavericks. Are you kidding me, baby? The Charlotte Hornets are trading Tyus Jones to the Dallas Mavericks for Malaki Branham. That is unbelievable. I did not expect that happening. The Mavericks have made a trade. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. The Mavericks are acquiring Tyus Jones for Malaki Branham, who they just acquired from the Wizards. Unbelievable. The Mavericks have traded for Tyus Jones. That's insanity. That is not something I had on my bingo card. That is not something I had on my bingo card, Tyus Jones getting traded. We're going to get Tyus Jones' stats up here in just a moment, and we'll break down this deal, as this may be a straight up 1-for-1. Is Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones. What a joke. I have copy templated. Tyus Jones is a Dallas Maverick. This season, he's done absolutely nothing. 3 points, 2 assists, 34.2% from the field. That is just horrific. The Mavs trade for Tyus Jones here at the buzzer of the 2026 NBA trade deadline. In exchange for Malaki Branham as well. Let's make sure that we have the details there. Tyus Jones, who Dallas actually... Oh, my God. This is just pure slop from flip-flop Jake Fisher. Tyus Jones, sources say, who Dallas actually targeted above D'Angelo Russell this summer before Jones found a richer deal with Orlando than the Mavericks could afford. Get the F out of here, Jake Fisher. That is an absolute joke. So the Mavericks get Tyus Jones for Malaki Branham, and the Hornets open up a $7 million trade exception. So Tyus Jones is a Dallas Maverick for now, the rest of this season at least. And this is what the trade looks like here on the surface at the moment, as it looks like it's a straight up 1-for-1. And of course, if details continue to come in, we will have you up to date here. But Tyus Jones comes to the Dallas Mavericks, and his contract is a $7 million expiring deal. So he would be with the Mavericks for the rest of the season, and then if the Mavs like him, could potentially re-sign him to become a backup point guard for the Mavs going forward. Tyus Jones, obviously the veteran out of Duke, been in the league a long time, has played some big roles for some good teams here in the league before, and he becomes a Dallas Maverick. So how about that, sports fans? The Mavericks make a move 20 minutes before the trade deadline. Grade the trade for me down in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. The Mavericks trade Malaki Branham to the Charlotte Hornets for Tyus Jones. Absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. I believe Tyus Jones was rerouted. Yeah, Tyus Jones played for Orlando this year. He was rerouted to Charlotte. So the Mavericks are rerouting Malaki Branham to Charlotte for Tyus Jones, who was on Orlando this year. Interesting. Interesting. Grade the trade down there in the comment section. We are about to we will break down this news here in just a moment. Oh no! All right. Interesting move. Tyus Jones has not done anything this season. He has played in 48 games, averaging just 3 points and 2.5 assists, as I said, playing about 16 minutes per night. Playing about 16 minutes per night. He started 8 games for Orlando. He's shooting horrifically. I mean, my God, 34% from the field and 29% from 3. This trade makes sense simply to just be a salary filler, or like a minutes filler, I suppose, for the back end of the season. That's kind of what I see this trade being. I do wonder as well if this is an expansion of the Anthony Davis trade. I wonder if this is an expansion of the Anthony Davis trade, which it certainly could be. I'm seeing some B's, some B minus, C's, D's. We'll make that the new live poll here on the channel. Tyus Jones acquired for Malaki Branham. Grade the trade of Malaki Branham for Tyus Jones. A, B, C, D, or F. All right. Go vote. New live poll. Grade the trade of Malaki Branham for Tyus Jones. A, B, C, D, or F. And let me know what you guys think. Fascinating deal, in my opinion. I don't know. I get that the Mavericks wanted Tyus Jones in free agency, but why now? Expiring deal again? I know, like, Jake Fisher claims that the Mavericks wanted him over D'Angelo Russell. Give me a break. They were getting D'Angelo Russell the whole time. I think they wanted Chris Paul over him. I think they wanted Chris Paul over him. But interesting. So Malaki Branham goes for Tyus Jones. The Mavericks still have 15 players on their roster here at the moment. Branham did not have extra years on his contract. Branham did not have extra years on his contract. He was an expiring deal as well. Interesting. All right. Yes, Tyus is an expiring deal as well at $7 million. So he will be off the books this season. So I guess the Mavericks, do they clear more money than they had? I suppose it doesn't really matter because Branham was making, I think, the minimum, and Tyus is making 7. So technically, I guess they clear more money than they had. But let's just I'm going to make sure I have all the details here for this trade, and then we will get in to the breaking news here of the Mavericks trading for Malaki Branham. Shocking move. Shocking move. B+, says Spivey. He was a solid player prior to this year. He was. He certainly was. Not quite $200 million. Nader, please do not spam fake news in the chat, and if you do, you will get banned. Please do not spam fake news in the chat. Ja has not gone to the Bucks. What are y'all talking about? Yeah. Please don't spam fake news in the chat. That is no fun for the people who are in the chat and for the people who are working the deadline. Ja Morant is not a Buck. I promise. I promise. All right. Alrighty. All right. Let's break down the news here as the Mavericks made a move acquiring Tyus Jones from the Charlotte Hornets, who played for the Orlando Magic this year as well. So we will break it down right here on the channel in just a moment. Tyus Jones. Okay, yes. So the Magic traded Tyus Jones to the Hornets for cash, and then Tyus Jones is being rerouted to Dallas. So that's how that's working. All right. Let's get into it. The Mavericks have acquired Tyus Jones from the Charlotte Hornets. We're going to break it down right here on Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. 10 minutes to go to the 2026 NBA trade deadline, but we're going to talk about the breaking Mavericks news right here on the channel. Let's do it. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Jeffrey Cooperstein here, and there is breaking news. The Dallas Mavericks have acquired Tyus Jones from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Malaki Branham. This was a move that, frankly, I did not see coming, as I really thought that the Mavericks, after the Anthony Davis trade, were going to be done for the remainder of the 2026 NBA trade deadline. But it looks like they obviously made one more move, acquiring Tyus Jones from the Charlotte Hornets. And this is an interesting move because I don't think that the Mavericks ever gave up on their pursuit of Tyus Jones. They reportedly wanted him in 2025 NBA free agency, and they weren't able to get him. Now they come out and they get him here with about 10 minutes to spare at the 2026 NBA trade deadline. And this is why you subscribe, because we have you covered with all of the latest Mavericks news and rumors. If breaking news happens, you know where to find it right here on the channel. Subscribe at youtube.com/MavsTV. Yes, and this looks like it is the full trade, as Tyus Jones is a Dallas Maverick. Malaki Branham is a Charlotte Hornet. Now, if you may not be familiar with who Malaki Branham is, that is because he was never officially a Maverick. Malaki Branham was a part of the deal that sent Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards, and we'll flash that deal as well for you guys just to refresh your memory. So Branham came to the Mavericks from the Wizards as part of the AD trade, but he will never actually set foot in Dallas and play for the Mavericks. He will now be a member of the Charlotte Hornets. And it looks like this is the deal just straight up, Tyus Jones for Branham. Now, Tyus Jones actually played this season with the Orlando Magic. Jones was traded to the Charlotte Hornets just a couple of days ago for cash considerations, and the Hornets waived Pat Connaughton to make room for Tyus Jones on the roster. Here's the exact trade that happened there. So Tyus went to the Hornets, including 2 second-round picks. The Magic got cash, and then they waived Pat Connaughton, and now they reroute Tyus to Dallas for Malaki Branham. This is an interesting deal, and it's not one that I'm over the moon with, but it's not one I'm necessarily mad about either. Look, the Mavericks needed point guard play. No matter how bad or how nondescript Tyus Jones has been this season, they really just needed somebody with a pulse who could play basketball at the point guard position, because they really haven't had it this season, and it gives them some much needed depth, especially with Brandon Williams hurt. Like Tyus Jones with the Orlando Magic this season, 3 points a night, 2.5 assists a night, not shooting well, just 34% from the field, 29% from three, but he has played in over 40 games. He's started a few games as well, 8 games to be exact. He's played in 48 games, so he's been healthy all season. Played about 16 minutes a night as well for the Orlando Magic. And the Mavericks did pursue Tyus in 2025 NBA free agency. They went with D'Angelo Russell instead, but now Russell sent to the Wizards, and the Mavericks go out and they acquire Tyus Jones from the Charlotte Hornets. Grade the trade for me down in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think about the trade of Tyus Jones. And this obviously is not the only move that the Dallas Mavericks made. We flashed it earlier, but we'll go into it again, as they did trade Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards in a mega 8-player deal, including Khris Middleton, AJ Johnson, former Maverick Malaki Branham, Marvin Bagley, 2 first-round picks, and 3 second-round picks. That first-round pick, OKC's this season, and in 2030, Golden State's top 20 protected, in addition to the 3 second-round picks. Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum, in addition to AD, all go to the Wizards. Look, this trade for Tyus Jones is not going to be earth-shattering. It is not one that you're like, oh my God, the Mavs traded for Tyus Jones. Like, this is really going to help this team out. No, it's a stopgap trade. Tyus Jones is on an expiring $7 million contract, right? So at the end of the day, if Tyus plays well in the second half of the season for Dallas, great. That's awesome. That means the Mavericks got good point guard play from a veteran. They really need it, again, because Brandon Williams is hurt. Kyrie Irving likely not going to play for the rest of the season. And this move, actually, now that I'm thinking about it on the surface, would indicate to me that the Mavericks do not plan to bring Kyrie Irving back the rest of the season. So they need warm bodies, literally, to play point guard. You have Brandon Williams, you have Ryan Nembhard, and now you have Tyus Jones here in the fold. So I think this is more of a stopgap move to give the Mavericks some stability at the point guard position, and they will get that with Tyus Jones. Is he going to wow you with anything? No. Will he do a good job? Will he be a good veteran? Will he be someone that can help out the young players on this team? That I do think Tyus Jones will do. We'll break down the trade here in further detail in just a moment, but I need to tell you guys about our sponsor, which of course is PrizePicks. And yes, basketball season is rolling on, but the big game is almost here on Sunday to be exact. Don't miss out on the final football action of the season, on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right, where you can get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5. PrizePicks is available to play in all 50 states, including California, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, and Cash App for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. And PrizePicks has a huge deal for you guys coming up on Sunday for the big game. If you think Drake May is going to throw for more than half a passing yard, They have a big game max discount for you guys that you can use to pair up with other player stat projections, and you could watch your winnings roll in. How do you play? Super easy. Just download the app and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, that is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. It is PrizePicks. It's good to be right. All right, rehashing again what Tyus Jones is going to do for the Mavs the rest of the season. You're not going to see him in the starting lineup, I don't think. He's not going to be available tonight against the San Antonio Spurs, so I think you'll see him on Saturday maybe. But look, it's not a trade that you're, oh my goodness, what are the Mavericks doing? And it's not a trade that's, oh my goodness, what are the Mavs doing, right? It's kind of one of those nondescript deals that you're like, yeah, this is cool that they ended up getting Tyus Jones. It's not a long-term piece for the Mavericks, like, let's be honest. He's a backup point guard. He is a replaceable point guard, but he's going to give the Mavericks stable, solid play at that position, which they really haven't had at all this season. When Cooper Flagg and Naji Marshall have been your best ball handlers, that's not really going to win you a whole lot of games, right? So now they're getting someone in Tyus who can play 15 to 20 minutes a night, will take care of the basketball, will be able to get the Mavericks into their offense. I do think that this is a solid move for the Mavs acquiring Tyus Jones here for Malaki Branham. So the Mavericks at the trade deadline, and I'm refreshing Twitter just to make sure, but it looks like this will be their final deal. They have made two trades, the one for Anthony Davis and the one for Tyus Jones. So it looks like that will be it for the Dallas Mavericks. And when you look at the trade deadline as a whole, I think the Mavericks did a pretty good job. I think it was time to move on from Anthony Davis. The Mavericks interim general managers got the best deal they could for AD. They sent him to the Washington Wizards. And more importantly, they sent 3 stiffs to the Washington Wizards as well. Like, you sent Dante Exum, who hasn't played a second of basketball this year. You sent D'Angelo Russell, who is one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen put on the Mavericks uniform. You sent Jaden Hardy, who is not an NBA player. And you cleared all of that money up. And then you went out and you flipped Malaki Branham, who you acquired from the Wizards, for Tyus Jones. And you get a reliable backup point guard. I think the Mavericks front office deserves credit for what they did at this trade deadline. If you had to grade the trade deadline as a whole, I would give it a solid B. I'm not going to give them an A because I don't think they deserve an A, but I will give them a B. And I think they did a good job setting the Mavericks up for success here in the future. And we can take a look at what I said the Mavericks' needs were for the remainder of the trade deadline heading in to today. And I think that this, pretty much fully encompasses exactly what they needed. They needed young pieces, they needed flexibility, and they needed just additional draft capital. Well, what did the Mavericks get here at the 2026 NBA trade deadline? They got additional cap space for next season as they cleared $70+ million off their books. They got additional draft capital in the form of 5 picks for Anthony Davis, which could turn into 6 if that 2030 protected first doesn't convey. And they've got some pieces to build around Cooper Flagg now, and more importantly, the flexibility to build around Cooper Flagg, which is the most important thing by far. So I think the Mavericks did a pretty good job here at the trade deadline, all things considered, if I'm being honest. And I think Matt Riccardi and Michael Finley deserve credit for how they have handled themselves here at this trade deadline as well. So I'm a fan of what the Mavericks did, and I think those boys over there in the Mavericks front office off of I-35 absolutely deserve credit for how they handled this trade deadline. And now it moves on to what the Mavs do here with the rest of the season. You talk about buyout candidates, you're looking at the likes of Marvin Bagley and Khris Middleton as guys who could potentially be buyout candidates that the Mavericks may send on their way here shortly within the next month. Look, the buyout deadline is March 1st, so the Mavericks have a couple of weeks to figure that out. But I think at the end of the day, there's no point in keeping Khris Middleton. He's a veteran player who probably wants one more shot at a playoff push. And I don't think the Mavericks have any use for Khris Middleton, to be honest. So I think you buy him out and you let him walk. Then you sign Ryan Nembhard to a standard NBA contract because that would clear up a roster spot. And then you could think about the same for Marvin Bagley as well. I wouldn't mind seeing Marvin Bagley on this roster for the rest of the season and seeing exactly how he gets on. He's averaging 10-5 this year, having a decent season for the Washington Wizards. So if you think that Bagley could be a piece for you going forward, He's on an expiring deal as well, and the buyout would be very cheap, so you could go either way. But I would be fine if you kept Bagley for the rest of the season and let that play out. Bagley's an expiring contract. Tyus Jones is an expiring contract. Khris Middleton is an expiring contract. And then you got A.J. Johnson, who is under contract for next year, but then has a club option for the following season as well. So the Mavericks have additional flexibility, which they did not have 24 hours ago before the Anthony Davis trade. They have cleared out over $70 million in space. They will have the ability to make trades and make signings this offseason. Along with the lottery pick, I think they're pretty close to having a competitor around Cooper Flagg. It's not as far away as it may have seemed, again, just 24 hours ago before the Anthony Davis trade occurred. So that's it. The Mavericks trade Malaki Branham for Tyus Jones. They get a backup point guard for the rest of the season. That will do it for our breaking news edition of Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Appreciate you all for tuning in to the show. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we will have you covered all throughout the rest of the season and the offseason with the latest Mavericks news and rumors. We'll see you guys soon. And as always, let's go Mavs. All right. The Mavericks have traded for Tyus Jones, and the 2026 NBA trade deadline has passed, ladies and gentlemen. There are no more trades to be made here in the NBA. Domantas Sabonis stays. Kawhi Leonard stays. And that is that. Grade the trade for me down in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. I see some C's. I see some B's. Our live poll says it's a B. I think it's a B as well. Nader, I see your super chat. We'll get to you here in just a moment, my friend. Get to you here in just a moment. Think our future is better knowing that AD is gone for picks? I would agree, Mr. Nader. I would absolutely agree with you. And I appreciate the dollar super chat coming in here, which we'll get on screen, as the Mavs make the seemingly last move of trade deadline season, acquiring Tyus Jones. Can't say I had that on my bingo card, but I like it. It's a fine move. Is it a move that moves the needle? No. But it is a fine move. Solid B. I agree. And 44% of you in our live poll say B as well. Some of you say A, some of you say C, some of you say D or F. But yeah, the vast majority of you are saying B, and that's where I would stay as well. I think this is a B trade. It's not something that's going to wow you. It's not something that you should be pissed off about either, so to speak. But now that the trade deadline is passed, we transition to buyout season. We look at Khris Middleton. We look at Marvin Bagley as guys who could be bought out by the Dallas Mavericks. And then we transition to the offseason, where the Mavericks will have $70 more million to play with than they thought. I'm not exactly sure where their cap exactly lies after the season, but they'll have much more room than they originally thought they would. They'll have a lottery pick. They will have another first-round pick to deal with. They'll have Cooper Flagg going into year 2. This team is set up to be all right next season. If Kyrie stays healthy, they can get Derek Lively back healthy. Again, 2 big ifs. And if they can hit on their draft pick, who's to say they can't be competitive next year, given how good number 32 is? I don't think we should trade Kyrie, Nader. I think we should keep Kyrie. Yes, I saw that, JNT. Stretch bigs that the Mavericks could trade for. They could re-sign Kristaps Porzingis if they wanted to. I'm sure there are a couple names on the market that I can't think of off the top of my head, but the Mavs will be busy this offseason, man. They absolutely will, and it's imperative that they get the GM hire out of the way early, because this is a pivotal offseason for the Mavs. A pivotal offseason for the Mavs. Yes, Middleton might be gone, but Bagley might stay. I would like Bagley to stay, to be honest. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes working on getting this cut out for us. Darren Peterson or bust, says Mavericks Greatness. Darren Peterson or bust. I don't know if it's or bust. Yeah. Not or bust for me. I think I'd be happy with AJ DeBonsa. I'd be happy with Cam Boozer. I'd be pretty happy with Caleb Wilson. A couple other guys in the lottery I'd be pretty happy with. I like Koa Pete. I think there are a few other players on this Mavericks roster that you would be pretty happy with. What are the odds of the Mavs getting the top 4 pick? Benji, let's look and see exactly what those odds are here at the moment. The Mavericks' odds to get top 4 at the moment are 31.9%. Could be worse than that. No way. The Brooklyn Nets are waiving Cam Thomas. That's actually shocking. That is shocking that the Nets are waiving Cam Thomas. Am I missing something there? What am I missing with the Nets waiving Cam Thomas? Making 15.8 or averaging 15.8 points per game this year, and they're just waiving him? 3.1 assists. Cam Thomas a bucket getter. He averaged 24 points a night last year for Brooklyn. That's an odd maneuver if you're the Brooklyn Nets, if I'm being honest with you. Odd maneuver for the Brooklyn Nets. I don't get that one whatsoever. That one doesn't make much sense to me. That one does not make much sense for me. Dylan, Derek Lively is not trash. He just doesn't play basketball anymore. That's the only problem. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for our live edition of Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. We've got plenty of other work to get done here the rest of the day. We might have another video out on the channel today. If not, certainly we will have one tomorrow about the latest Mavericks rumors after the trade deadline. So stay tuned for that. Mavs obviously take on the San Antonio Spurs tonight. We'll have you covered if anything crazy happens there as well. Appreciate every single one of you for joining me here on today's trade deadline. It was absolutely fantastic. Had a great time hanging out. Saw some new faces, which I absolutely loved. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that sub button because there's more where this came from. We'll be doing watch parties the rest of the season. We'll be covering the latest Mavericks news and rumors leading up to the offseason. There's a lot of juice surrounding this Mavericks team. So stay locked in because we will have you covered right here on the channel. My name is Jeffrey Cooperstein. Of course, you can go give me a follow on Twitter at Jeff_Coop27, and we will have you covered with everything surrounding the Dallas Mavericks. Without further ado, that will do it. And as always, guys, let's go Mavs.